She's back. Mostly. Do you want financial freedom, but it doesn't really feel possible? Wow, I sound like a multi-level marketing scam about to go on a rant. But seriously, guys, do you feel like you just want to shift out of always being in the negative and owing tons of credit card debt and loans and just shift into that spot where you're actually saving money and investing in things? I want to help you. Full disclosure, I was, like many of us, in incredible debt. And it wasn't even like cool debt where I went to school to become something kind of neat or build things. Nope. I just spent my money in really stupid ways because the bank made me feel like I deserved a second credit card. And then when I got really excited about DJing and traveling, I just didn't spend my money really well. I mean, I looked really cool because I had jeans that lit up when the light hit them and, you know, a ghetto blaster purse that played music. It wasn't really helping my career to be spending that money because I wasn't investing it in the right things. Actually, interestingly enough, due to one of the travel situations that kind of left me stranded in another country after being denied access to another country, it led me to some incredibly uncomfortable debt. Tell you how I got out of that, but I want to just start giving you guys some advice. So let's jump into it. The first thing you need to do is open up your bank account. Look at it in the fullest. And I want you to write down what you owe, what you currently have in your checking account, your savings account, and what your interest rates are on your loans, your credit cards, your lines of credit. The interest rate is really important, so please don't miss this because you're gonna have to go back. It's really important for you to take inventory, take a snapshot of where you're at right now. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't do. I know I did not like doing it. I didn't want to open up my credit card bill. I was just like, whatever, I'll stick 50 bucks on it. The mistake that I made, like many people, is I didn't know what my interest rates were on anything. If I owed a lot of money on my line of credit, I was more likely to stick a chunk on there instead of pay off a credit card. Even though I wasn't spending a lot on the credit card, what I didn't realize is that that interest rate was making it impossible to ever pay it off if I wasn't going to make huge lump sums of payments on there or consolidate all of that debt into a loan with a lower interest rate. Now, a lot of people don't like doing that because they don't like the idea of the bank telling them no more credit card, because maybe that credit card is a backup for you if anything goes wrong. But if you get into the kind of situation that I got into where you literally had to take money out of your savings account to make the first payment for your consolidation loan, let's say, for example, you've got your line of credit, your credit card, and your loan, your student loan, and you owe $100 on all of them, but the interest rates are different. If the interest rate is 5% on one, 3% on the other, and 19% on the credit card, I'm better off paying off the freaking credit card as soon as possible, because the credit card is costing me the most money to have an owing balance on it. So if you got, $100 for bills, you might stick 50 bucks on the credit card and 25 bucks on the other two, because just simply because of that interest rate. I mean, there are situations in which people look at a really big loan that they owe and they think, I should stick $500 on that right now because it's such a big loan, but the interest rate is so low that, again, you're better off paying the interest rate on something that is costing you money to carry on a balance. And here's the thing, a lot of banks will offer you these, amazing credit cards that gain you points, and then, you get a payout at the end of the year. If you're paying interest, it's not free money. You're literally paying for it. And so if you want to utilize a card that's going to be like, hey, we're giving you scene points and now you can use that at Montana's and, you know, the rec room or the movie theater, you're better off only using that credit card if you have that money in your checkings account to pay it off every single time. If you are somebody that is taking a big financial risk, say for example, you are opening up a business and you know, you're trying to decide whether or not you should become incorporated. If you become incorporated and register that business, that means if your business goes bankrupt, you don't go bankrupt. The business goes bankrupt. And so sometimes financially we think, well, I don't want to spend that grand or two to become incorporated, but actually it's going to offer you so much more protection in the long run. There are, of course, all the other things that are really important to do when we are trying to go in the plus and start investing in our future and start saving for things. For some folks, that means really breaking down, where am I spending my money? My loan, whether it's, you know, house payments, insurance on your vehicle, gas every month, food, all that stuff is really important, and it's great to have a breakdown of that. But there's also all of the other spending that you're doing that you may not be aware of because you're not looking for it. Just like people don't necessarily know what their interest rates are on various accounts that they have, they might not know, hey, I'm spending $300 a month on Starbucks, where every time they go grocery shopping, they see this Starbucks creamer, they're like, wow, it's $8. That's really expensive. But they're spending $300 a month on Starbucks. If you can afford it, awesome. But if you are struggling financially, you might find it helpful to physically see that number. And look, it's going to be cringy. You're going to look at where you're spending your money and it's going to feel gross sometimes. But it's a part of taking the accountability. It's a part of taking stock of where you're spending your money, where you can allocate it better, and even, you know, getting in and talking to a banking officer to find out what options you have. If, for example, you want something like a 90-day savings account where you're going to start making money off of your savings. Now, the interest rates on here, depending on what you've got going on, are different, especially, you know, situations in which you can't touch the money for a certain amount of days or months in order for that interest rate to build. If you're in a partnership and you have a situation where somebody is dealing with the finances, maybe you have a separate account and a joint account, and they're working on, you know, paying out the bills after you've paid them your portion. One of the things that I love to do, I do this with my husband, is allocate money to savings accounts that they have. So you have a joint savings account, which means more money, which means accumulating more interest on your savings account. And it's one of those situations where you just kind of forget about it. And then you go back in there at the end of the year and you're like, wow, I saved 10 grand. How did I save 10 grand in the last couple? That's awesome. That's amazing. So in my particular financial situation, as I promised that I would share with you guys, I really have to give a majority of the credit to my husband because he was the one that really stepped in there and notified me that I was totally getting screwed over because I really wanted to get out of debt. And I probably paid off my loan twice. That's how bad the interest rate was. I'm not gonna cry, you're crying. So one of the things that I suggest everybody does is shop around to different banks and see what interest rates that they can offer you. Don't let your bank allow you to think that there's no better rates out there. There are. I was actually talking to a financial advisor about this the other day that we cleaned their home, and she was telling me the different rates that different banks were offering her. It was wild how like one bank could be 2% and the other is 7%. If you don't have great credit, but you are serious, like you are super, super, super serious about doing this, and you're shopping around to other banks and you don't know if you can do it or not, you can have a co-signer like your partner or your parent or family member that has a good credit listing that can help you, again, like get a larger dollar amount to pay off all of those bills, especially, you know, the ones with the higher interest that you need to just consolidate and say bye-bye to forever. Anywho, I am not in debt. I am not in debt. Well, I guess the house is considered debt, but, you know, we could sell it and get all that money back. And this is actually a great time to be selling houses. But yeah, it's really, 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 really freaking freeing to be able to say that it's like, I don't have debt. I don't have a credit card balance. I use it, I pay it. I use it, I pay it. I have a savings account that, you know, I put money in it and forget about it, and then have a nice little nest egg just in case, or, you know, if I want to buy some new DJ gear or travel one day again, maybe. It looks pretty bad out there. Anywho, I hope you found this incredibly long video. Oh my god, you guys, what, like 15 minutes almost? If you're still here, thank you. It's been a while since I've been recording these, so I hope you found it helpful.